Heyo, welcome to the Liquid Era podcast. This is your girl Dee Brady, and I'm here with a special guest. Obviously, in another episode, I spoke about my getting into slip and slide due to who you know. So obviously, I knew my friend Danterious, and I spoke about meeting him and, you know, kind of just bouncing off ideas with each other as always. And so I invited him to basically speak about his journey, and we'll get into it. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
How you doing, everybody? I am Danterious Brown. You can find me on Instagram at __Spank2Live.
Yep.
That's live with 2 E's.
Okay, sir. Where is he from?
Broward.
Okay, so pretty much what we're doing today is getting more of Danterious, your journey so far, your growth from college to now, those type of things. My goal with Liquid Era is not just to only, obviously, you know, it's not only to just talk to professionals, get advice as well from entrepreneurs and all stuff like that, but also talk to post-grad students, other millennials, just to get our thoughts on things, just so others can understand. So first, let's start off with you at FAMU, and your train of thought and what you was doing.
Okay, so when I speak about FAMU, I have to go all the way back to the beginning. When I first actually stepped foot in FAMU, let's start with the fact that I was a business student who in turn changed the major to public relations, which is in School of Journalism. When I came into the business program, I told myself that I wanted to study marketing. I knew that I always wanted to do something within marketing, but I didn't know what side of marketing that I was really more so wanted to be on. Because there's so many different sides to marketing. Like there's digital, there's advertising, which is a side of marketing. It's not directly connected, but they're all connected in some type of way. So during my time in SBI was cool, but then I started to realize SBI really wasn't for me. I seen that it was a little bit too suit and tie for me. I'm not your traditional businessman. I'm a little untraditional on most things that I do. And it just wasn't for me. It wasn't something that I could really see myself doing long term. The skills that I learned in SBI, though, they were very beneficial to my career. But I started exploring other options, and that's when I got introduced to public relations. Public relations, I seen that it still had some of the same components of marketing, but it wasn't exactly like marketing. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the more number side of things. It was more of the creativity side. And that was what I wanted to get more into. I like to be creative. I'm a very creative person. I like to express my creativity in many different ways. So PR gave me that outlet to really be able to do so. Mm-hmm. So in turn, I ended up switching my major to PR during my sophomore year. And this is when I met a lot of people who are now still in my network today. My time in the journalism school started off pretty hectic because, as I said before, I'm not your traditional student. So I did things kind of different. One, I was always very charismatic, I would say.
Mm-hmm. That's what you gonna call it?
What would you call it? What would you call it?
Different.
Well, different could be a word, but I mean, why you say different? What would you say as different?
Well, I had
non-traditional.
Hey.
Well,
you used to get in trouble in class.
So this is
for sleeping.
Listen, class was crazy. I had too many classes, and I had 8 o'clock classes, so it made me tired. By the time 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock hit, those classes, they should have already known. He's going to fall asleep in my class.
They should already know. Or you should know.
Don't fall asleep in nobody's class, though. I ain't telling people to do that. But, I mean, it happened. it was a part of my journey though. I learned a lot from that. I remember one teacher in particular that we had together. What was his name?
Mr. Douglas.
Mm-hmm. Every time I used to come in this man class, Mr. Brown.
He said Mr. Brown because you'll laugh and you would be asleep.
He used to make me sit in the front of the class. Mm-hmm. I hated that when I had a question or I knew the answer to a question. I would put up my hand. He would never call on me. But the minute I don't know the answer, he calls on me. That was a problem for me.
Mind you, listen, y'all, this isn't high school. This is college. I hope you know this. And this isn't freshman year, by the way.
This is like sophomore. I used to get so mad. Like, as soon as I put up my hand, he'll look over me at all the other students. Get to a question I don't know. Mr. Brown, do you know the answer? No, I do not. But I'll finesse my way through the answer. And I did many of these.
So, one of the things that Danterious used to always be the type to really be, anytime he worked a lot. You worked a lot outside.
I had 2 jobs.
You worked outside of college as well. So anytime that you see Danterious, he's with his dance troupe or he just lollygagging around in school, like sleeping. So it's like
I would fall asleep on the set.
I don't know how you fall asleep on the set, but okay. During set Friday?
During set Friday.
Wow.
I fell asleep on the
Okay,
on the
so I'm not surprised that you sleep in strip clubs. That's
I'm not surprised either.
So, you know, professors really look at your work ethic, and especially at FAMU. I don't know about any other colleges. If you guys, you know, from different colleges, if you're listening to this, let me know. Well, especially HBCU. HBCU professors end up being like your aunt, like your mother type shit away from home. So a lot of them really root for the students who show work ethic, who's always in their face, like pretty much not kissing ass, but you know, who kissing ass. Yeah. And Danterious, because he wasn't really around, and when he was around, it was like a more of a joking matter or finessing or, you know, still getting his work done, but he wasn't taken seriously.
Right. And I think, you know, that was often the misconception, because I remember that being told to me one time before. The fact that I did so much outside of school, it didn't leave room for me to actually be as active on campus as most other students. And I didn't have a problem with that because I made money on the side, you know. Mm-hmm. Through college, I was literally paying my bills. Mm-hmm. So I had no choice but to have a job. I had a job the moment I came in as a freshman. I was working at Foot Locker because I made sure I locked in my job before I left to go off to school.
I see what you did there. Foot Locker, locked in my job.
Really?
Smart.
Yeah, so I mean, I was already working, and so when I got into school, I had all these classes, because, you know, freshman year, they dump a bunch of classes on you. So sophomore and freshman year, you're taking like, 12 credit hours or more, usually. I just didn't have time to be as active on campus like some of the other students. I didn't care about the organizations and stuff. Only organization I got involved with at the time was Strikers Dance Troupe. And that was because that became another outlet for me to just stay sane, because I was always a performer. I could dance. So it was something that kind of went along with just my journey as a person. So,
back again to going to being a creative.
Yeah.
As a dancer, you are a creative.
It kept me in my scope of my line of work that I wanted to do anyway, which was being creative. Because while I was a striker, I ended up being one of the creative directors. I was a wardrobe director. So I got a chance to do these things that still helped me express my creativity. So just going back to just me not being the most traditional student, I didn't have a lot of time to actually be active in the J school. So a lot of the professors didn't take me as serious, though I didn't want to be on the same level as some of the other students, which was never the case. Also, I mean, as we said before, I wouldn't say they kiss ass, but then at the same time, a lot of students, they did. Like, let's just keep it real, they did. That was never me. I couldn't be the type to constantly be in your face just to get something from you.
So how did you transition into getting into slip and slide? Because usually you hear professionals who got into the music industry in like the 2000s and 90s, they were busting their ass to be in front of an executive face and have to prove themselves that they wanted to be there. Mm-hmm. So what did you do?
So for me, it was more trial and error. And, you know, I always had this mindset of if nobody else is going to give me a chance, I'm going to create my own opportunities. And so that's what I started doing first. I started just working with different artists in the community and some artists on campus, just helping them doing the same work that I'm doing now. I was like helping them with their brands, helping them come up with marketing plans and things like that. So I had already started getting my feet wet. And then so one summer I went home and I was just researching different opportunities that was available, and something said look up Slip and Slide Records. So I went to the website. They never said that they was actively looking for interns or anything. I just decided to email the email that was on there, and literally I got a response back the next day. When I got that response back, I was in conversation with the young lady who was over the interns at the time, and she was just taking too long to email me back. So I decided I'm going to get up and I'm going to go to the office. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, we had previous conversation about everything that I had to offer, and she made it seem as though she was really, she was interested.
I want you to, okay, so say the real Danterious.
What, tell her name?
No.
Okay, I'm getting
wasn't
to it.
Invited.
All right. I need them to understand how we get there. So, when I saw, in the email, I had to be smart. I read that she's into me, but she probably too busy to let me know right now what we can do. So to save her some time, I just showed up to the office.
Mm-hmm. To save her some time.
I showed up to the office, rang the doorbell.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody comes out eating Popeye's chicken. This is funny, and I will forever remember this. It's the CEO of the label. He does. I don't even know if he knew I knew who he was, but I knew exactly who he was. Mm-hmm. But I faked like I didn't exactly know who he was. Like, so I didn't fan out or anything. I was just like, yeah, I'm here. I'm here to see. And I said the young lady's name. And he was like, okay. He went and got her. He told her that I said I had an interview with her, which I did. So that was the other thing. I told him that we had confirmed the interview.
Mm-hmm. But you ain't had no confirmed interview.
I didn't. I don't even think she remembered that I had no confirmed interview. But she went ahead and he met with me. And the interview went really well, and literally I started the next day. Mm-hmm. Like, it was all about what I did when I went in there. So me knowing mentally that I was already not technically invited to be here, I knew I had to come in and show out. So I literally had already put together something that said I knew the history of the label. Mm-hmm. I knew where the label was technically trying to go. I knew exactly where the label was technically trying to go. And I knew where they had been and what their artists. I knew the artist who was on the label now. So it made things easier for me. Plus, perception is everything. I came dressed ready for success. Like, I had on a whole suit. Mm. So I came ready for this position. Mm-hmm. And when I walked in there, I literally owned what I was talking about, because I told myself I'm not walking out of here without this position.
Right.
So it was just about my drive at that moment. Like, my drive and my work ethic always outworked anything else. Like I say, even in college, undergrad, me maybe falling asleep in class, my reasons, because I was working hard outside of school.
Oh, Lord.
It's crazy. It's crazy out here.
I told them in the first episode that, when I met you, well, not when I met you, but I had already known you, obviously, from classes. But when one day I met up with you and you were talking about, like, oh, you had to get some things in order or whatever to promote the artists on FAMU's campus. And we were like, pretty much when we talk, we just shoot ideas out. Like, we don't think to do so on purpose. It just happens. Right. So I was just like, yeah, you should do this and that or whatever. You was like, oh, yeah. And then you told me that Slip and Slide is looking for interns and stuff. And that's how it came about. graduated, went to office, and then afterwards, I believe it was summertime, you came and joined the office. And it was just like a big, like, we were like on a momentum, like dealing with all the artists and all that shit like that, right? So it came a time where at some point in time in the process of a slide, it was just like you weren't yourself anymore. Like, it was like you were yourself, obviously, like you're still laughing and making jokes, nigga, but it was a time where it was just like you weren't like really working at your best. Like, you were doing things that wasn't normal for you. Your mindset wasn't really there. So what was one of your hard moments you would say in the process at Slip and Slide that made you want to move on to something, or talk about your transition?
So during that time, it's crazy how that just happened, because that was literally something, it progressively happened. And this is why mental health is so important, and I encourage everybody out there, if you are dealing with anything, make sure you deal with it. Don't try to sweep it under the rug.
And before you continue, I want you guys to know, before he gets into the story, that when he came during the summertime, Danterious didn't finish school yet.
Yeah.
So he did majority of like everything. All you had to do was like one class, and you had already passed capstone, which is what you need to do in order to graduate from J school, FAMU, whatever. He already passed it, did all that. It's just one class. So go ahead, continue.
So let me go back and start there. So when I came back to the label, during this time, I ended up having one class left to finish school. Because of unforeseen circumstances that were totally out of my control, I couldn't. And instead of me really getting depressed about it at first, I just decided simply I would just continue working. Continue keep getting my feet wet, continue gaining the experience, and it'll keep my mind going. I won't have so much time to just sit and figure out how I can figure out this problem right now. Let me just keep working. So I ended up divulging a lot of my energy and my time into my work, which in turn, later down the line, it backfired because I never dealt with the problem. And in doing so, it caused me to become really depressed. Like I say, a lot of people didn't know, but like every semester when I would see a new set of people graduating, I got more and more depressed because I was like, I could have been done by now had what happened not happened. Mm-hmm. Like, I could have been completely finished. So it made me depressed. And it got to a point where work wasn't an outlet anymore. I couldn't hide my true feelings into my work. My creativity was being affected by it. My work ethic was being affected by it. Like, to the point where literally I would be coming to work late and technically not even be bothered. And I know that is wrong, but I wasn't bothered because in my head, it's like I'm dealing with so much other stuff. This is the last thing I'm worried about right now. And in turn, I realized that that's not fair to my team. And literally, Denise had a talk with me, and it I ended up sitting down with Denise and our boss at the time, and just really coming to the context of I need to take some time to myself and mentally get myself together. During that time of me taking that time to myself, I realized something needed to change, and I needed to deal with a few things that were bothering me in order to move forward with life. Because literally I had got so depressed that I didn't even know who I was anymore. I'm looking in the mirror, questioning who are you? What are your skills really? Like it affected every part of my life. And literally that same week that I went through all of this, Denise ended up telling me about, what was it, NABJ?
Yes.
I decided to go to NABJ.
They were having a FAMU alumni.
Right. And it's crazy because I wasn't even going to go. I literally went home after we got off work, and the traffic was so bad. I was like, I'm not going back. down up that way, because that was literally going south and then have to go. I mean, going north and then have to go back south. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I'm not going. 5 minutes into me being home, I ran into the room and changed my clothes. I said, I'm gonna go anyway, and called Denise and told her I'm on my way. So we get there. I'm listening to the new at this time the new dean of FAMU, J School, and she was speaking. Something just really came over my spirit and was like, talk to this lady, introduce yourself, let her know who you is. You never know what can be done. And then one side of me is like, what is she gonna do? But then the other side was like, just do it. You never know. You know how you got in the cartoons, how you got the two people on your shoulders?
Here you go.
I had one on one shoulder and one on the other shoulder.
Here you go with the bullshit.
And they basically told me, you need to go talk. So as soon as she got off stage, I went up and I talked to the lady. And I let her know exactly who I was. What was funny about that whole conversation, she said, I know who you are. And I was like, really? I never spoke to you. And yeah, she knew. She said at the time I had popped up on her people who hadn't graduated list. So literally she said send her email, just a follow-up email talking about what we talked about, and she'll get back to me. I sent that email as soon as I got home. Tell you guys, no lie, Monday of that following week, she emailed me back and said, we're going to get you back in school. She emailed me back 2 days later and was like, give her until the end of the day, and she'll have my things paid off for me. Long story short, she ended up emailing me back 2 hours later and said, we need you to start school next week. And it happened just that quick. And I ended up getting on the road during the hurricane.
I want you to know that you said long story short, but the long story.
I can never really say
the long
short
story. But it was good.
That's the shortest part to the longest story.
Yeah, that is true. That's true.
That's like that's the shorter version, but you still got a gist of what happened.
Right.
So
HBCUs, like, that's one great thing about HBCUs, or even finding a good connection in college, because that one professor that believes in you, or the dean or whatever, it really means the world. Honestly, it changes your whole world. So when you went back to FAMU, you're getting your final degree, you're out of the office, what is going in your mind now? Because you're really transitioning your life. You're taking a step back a little bit.
Soon as I went back to school, I felt the transition. I can start by saying one, because I basically, once again, me taking risks as usual, I went with no job. I literally left my job to go back and finish school. So now I didn't have any type of income coming in, and I'm living strictly off my savings, which was like a few $1,000s at the time. Encourage you guys, save money.
Please.
Because I went 6 months without work, and that felt like forever. But I had to manage it, and I had a good network of friends. So when I went back to Tallahassee, one of my homeboys, he just told me, instead of me signing a year lease to an apartment that I'm gonna be ready to move out of in 4 months, just stay with him. So I stayed with him in his small little apartment. And I just paid the light bill. That's all I was responsible for, was the light bill a month. You can't beat that. And I made sure, I cooked sometime, and I brought in groceries, because you never want to burn your bridges with whoever you're staying with. If someone's willing to look out for you like that, you never want to burn your bridges. But I say all that to say, during that time, I ended up going through a process of really finding myself and finding my voice. Because I always thought I knew my voice, and I always thought that I had it figured out, but I didn't. I was really hiding behind staying busy. The more busy I was, the less I had to deal with my problems. Now I'm not busy, don't have a job. All I'm doing is going to school for this one class. I had a lot of time to really self-reflect. And during that time of self-reflecting, I found out my voice, and I really found my worth. I figured out that I wasn't giving myself up as a bargain anymore. You ever went to buy something from a flea market, but then you can buy that same item from the actual store you bought it from. But when you get it from the flea market, you feel like you got a bargain on it, but you don't treat it as the same as you would if you bought it from the store, like the Gucci store. You buy Gucci slides, but you go on Postmark and buy them half off.
You a motherfucking lie. I'm gonna act like them things.
Well, you know
I
what I'm
bought
saying.
It's the real thing.
I found that in the past, a lot of the things that I did for people were not valued because I just gave it for free. Mm-hmm. This time around, I've learned that I'm not gonna devalue myself anymore just to satisfy someone else's needs, because honestly, in return, they don't do the same for you.
Right.
And you find that out as you go through life.
So, fast forward now, Danterious has graduated, y'all. Fall 2019. And his next step, first of all, I kind of knew you were going.
How did you know this?
Because, like, you spoke about it, but, like, you didn't really, like, he said it, but you were thinking it. Like, that type of thing. So, actually, before you graduated, Danterious already started, like, his business, Premier Forward Media Group. And while he was at Slip and Slide, he was still promoting Premier Forward Media Group. But whatever he did in at Slip and Slide, he used his talents to learn and use it for his own personal brand, which is growing, right? So tell us more about after you graduated, your next move, and continuing with Premier Forward Media Group. First of all, like, what is Premier Forward Media Group?
Okay, so with my next set of moves that I want to make, I'm looking to move to a new geographic area altogether. So I'll tell you guys later where I'm going. Okay, I'm moving to Atlanta, you guys. I'm moving to Atlanta.
Black Hollywood.
I'm moving to the Black Hollywood. I'm getting the hell out of South Florida. Don't get me wrong, nothing wrong with South Florida. You know, I'm a Broward baby. I love Broward. Always will. You know, Broward made me who I am today. Broward has made a lot of people, honestly. You know, now we have the Brooklyn baby who's going to be soon a Broward baby.
Please. Throw it away.
Yeah, so I'm moving to Atlanta, and while I'm in Atlanta, I'm going to be pursuing going back to school, so I'm going to go to grad school. I'll let you guys know later what I'm going for. Mm-hmm. But I have a few other endeavors that I want to go ahead and bring to fruition. One of those being my business, Premier Forward Media Group. Premier Forward Media Group has honestly went through many stages. When I first started, it was called Clutch Time because I wanted to work with athletes.
What?
Yes. When I first started Premier Forward Media Group as a sophomore in college, during that time, it was called Clutch Time Media Group, and I was working.
That's when the song Clutch.
Yes.
Clutch Time. Ooh, you dirty.
Clutch Time. That's exactly where it came from.
So you was at a party, you heard that song.
It was crazy because I was looking for titles.
So you stole it from the song.
And I needed something that went along with sports. And the song used to always play, you know, as strikers, we danced to it. Uh-huh. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. Clutch time. No. Clutch. And it used to just come in my head all the time. So one day when I was working on the logo, I said, Clutch Time Media Group. That is perfect. Mm-hmm. But then I found out that all the rules and regulations of the NCAA and how I couldn't work with student athletes. Well, that ended that dream pretty quickly. And it led me into music. So when I first started Premier Forward Media Group, the basis of the whole company is an entertainment management company that helps build artists from the ground up. And we focus on marketing, advertising, and creative direction. And during those things, we help them come up with visuals for like their music videos and different concepts like that. Mm-hmm. And then on the marketing side, we actually put together full practical plans for them to be able to push their brands. Mm-hmm. And we go from every aspect of who are you as an artist to where are you trying to go, because we understand that if you If you know your end goal, you know what your vision is, then we know how to get you there. And so a lot of people who come to us, sometimes they don't know their end goal. So that's our job, is to help them figure out, where are you trying to go? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years? And wherever you see your career in the next 5 to 10 years, now let's go back and let's work backwards. So let's go ahead and build a plan that gets you to that 10-year span of where you're trying to go with your career. So like I said, when I first started, I was only working with artists, but now in 2020, I'm looking to actually branch out and work with more than just artists. So I'm working with more entertainers as a whole, whether you're getting into modeling or you're building a portfolio for modeling and acting, just helping with those different things. And now that we have social media that's at an all-time high, more higher than it was at the time when I first started the company, then there's more outlets for us to really help our artists grow. So yeah, that's just a bit about the company. And I really see it being bigger within the next 4 to 5 years, because we're going to be more than just a marketing and advertising company. We are investing in a brick and mortar where we will have production studios actually available to our clients. So our clients, they'll be able to get first dibs on these resources. So everything is like an inside one-stop shop. So you have us as your representation, but then you can also come to our offices and use our equipment, whether it's production or studio equipment, for absolutely nothing, because you're already paying for it in your campaigns.
Right.
So that's just like something tangible that we want to do to give back to our clients, but that's our future goals.
So winding down now, like, what are some tips that you would give students, post-grad students who may be in your past position or in your position now in Danterious? Like 3. Don't be doing like 10.
Can I give them my top 10?
No, nigga.
I'll go through it really quick.
That's not quick.
That is quick.
I fell asleep on the 5th one.
I'm not going to go into detail. I'm going to get on the top
10?
Top 10 tips for 2020.
5.
10.
6.
10.
6.
10.
5.
10.
4.
10.
I'm done with you, okay?
Thank you.
This is how we argue all the damn time. Like,
so, for all of the listeners out there, let me give you guys Danterious's top 10. I almost said 20.
I will fight you.
My top 10 lessons for you to take home for 2020. Keep these things in the back of your mind.
And this is what you learned in 2019.
Yes.
Okay.
So all of these are based off of things that I went through in 2019 that has helped me to now where I'm looking to go in 2020. Number 1, remember, people never change. They just become better versions of who they are, good or bad. If you let that sink in, you'll really understand what that means.
You said you wouldn't explain.
I won't explain. That's why I said just let that sink in.
That's not.
Just let it sink in. Number 2, never accept the first no. Once again, let that sink in. Every action
you are loud.
Doesn't
I want to let you know.
Every action doesn't deserve a response. Hence that one. Everyone's a liability, but which one are you willing to tolerate? Fear. Fear is just a false negative expectation people use to justify why they don't want to move forward with a plan or a goal. Number 7. Pride is neither good or bad. It's what you do with that pride that makes all the difference. Don't apologize for the things that you do or say to people if it's really what you meant, good or bad. I said what I said. Don't condemn yourself to society norms or expectations. It will kill you. It will kill you. It will kill you.
Okay, shut the hell up.
And number 10, the tell all be all. Take no one's advice, good or bad, as face value. Keyword, face value. What you do, you take in that advice, and then you evaluate that advice based on your lifestyle, your needs, and your financial goals, and your regular goals, your goals in life and your purpose. And then you make a decision on whether or not how you're going to take that advice and move with it. And those are your words of wisdom from Danterious Brown.
Please.
Mr. Extra.
Yes, yeah, So to end off this episode, right? So we're gonna have liquid trivia. So I'm gonna ask you nostalgic questions to see if you get them right. Only 4. It will either pertain shows, movies, music that we grew up on. All right.
Awesome. Let's get it.
Okay. Number 1. Where did we go to download or burn our music?
We went to a few places, but I can start with LimeWire and then free Napster.
Yeah.
Because I was the top pirater of the century.
I know.
You know how many CDs I burnt and sold? Don't come looking for me, please. Okay. My name is Jeff.
But what did that dude say? And get the hell on.
Get the fuck
on. Name 4 of 3LW songs.
No more. Baby, I'm gonna do right. Even that Adrian Bailon group, right?
That is not her fucking group. Okay?
Well, she was in the group.
Yes, she was in it, but that's not her group.
Don't come for my dog.
Next.
So okay, no more. Oh, what's that other song? When they use it. No, that's not them. I'm not even gonna say that. Gosh, I should know this. Because my cousins used to play them all the time. You got No More. Nah, that's the Cheetah Girls, so that's not them. Does that count? That's
no,
part
it
of
doesn't.
Them?
Only 2 of them was in the Cheetah Girls.
Isn't that like a cutoff?
No, it's not. 3LW was not a Disney
Wasn't that
group.
the replacement?
Boy, bye. And next.
Okay, I don't remember. Give me 2 of them. Give me the other 2.
I do the da 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 da.
I didn't know that song. What was another one? I only knew 2 songs by them, honestly.
That one by it was like more beach themed.
That's the one I'm trying to figure out. I remember the video, I don't remember the song.
I think after this you're gonna be like, oh hey,
Only reason I remember No More because it used to be catchy. You will, like you won't.
Everybody know that song. Players gonna play.
Players, they gonna play. Hey. Ballers, they gonna ball.
What?
I don't got nothing to lose.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, but I do, and No More, and Players Gonna Play, and Never Get Enough.
Okay.
Okay, guys, so we had to start over a little bit because something went wrong with the audio, but I have 2 more questions for Danterious. So, in the show Sister Sister, when Tia and Tamara finally bumped into each other, what did they say in unison to each other?
I should remember this because I just watched it the other day. Was it, you're me, I'm you, you're me? No way, something like that.
They did say that, but that's not what I'm looking for, though. When they first bumped into each other and they got scared, and their parents was right there with them.
I should know this. I just watched the episode.
It's 5 words.
It's not you're my sister, or what was it?
Mm-mm.
You're my twin?
Mm-mm.
You look like me?
No.
Who are you?
No. Look at this is Sister Sister, not Lifetime.
Right. Give me a lifeline.
No. I already did.
Give me an example.
I think what?
give me a clue. Give me 1 word. And not you. Give me the last word.
Face.
Face?
Uh-huh.
You have my face?
Kind of. That girl has my face.
Oh, wow. I forgot that.
Okay. The last question. All right. What is this song? And finish the lyrics. Girl, I really want to work this out because I'm tired of fighting. And I really hope you still want me the way I want you.
Can you sing the song?
No, definitely not. You're going to know it.
God.
I said, I really want to work this out. Okay. Damn, girl, I'm trying. It's no excuse. No excuse. But I got this.
Can you read it without giving your own tone to it?
Sorry.
I'm so confused.
Sorry. Okay. Girl, I really want to work this out because I'm tired of fighting. I really hope you still want me the way I want you. I said I really want to work this out. Damn, girl, I'm trying. It's no excuse. No excuse. But I got this.
Is the name of the song No Excuse?
What the fuck?
I really want to work. That's not. Bro, why is this so hard, yo? It's R&B?
Yes, it's R&B. It's a guy.
Tank
2000. What? This is not Tank. I'm going to read it again?
Yes.
Okay. Girl.
Should I know them?
Yes, you should.
Is it Mario?
No.
Trey Songz?
2000, early 2000s. I know Trey Songz is early 2000s, but it's not him.
Chris Brown?
No. Because I knew you would know a Chris Brown song.
B2K?
He's in B2K.
So it's Omarion?
Uh-huh.
Okay, because it won't be...
Anyways. Girl, I really want to work this out because I'm tired of fighting.
Oh, I really want to work this out because I'm tired of fighting. Hey, I really want to do this thing. I want you.
What?
Girl, it's my icebox with my heart. We used to always do the dance. Icebox with my heart. I'm so cold. I'm so cold.
Okay.
No. Hey, bro, you made that so difficult.
How?
I really want to work this out, but I'm trying to find it.
But I'm glad you got it. Yay!
I hate you, yo.
All right, guys. So that is the episode of Liquid Era. Of course, again, I'm your girl, Dee Brady. If you have any questions, any advice, any tips that you want to give that I will share on the podcast, you can email at liquidera6@gmail.com. You can also follow Liquid Era at liquid_era, sorry. Or you can follow me _Dee Brady, that's DeeBrady. If you want to go ahead and follow Danterious and follow his business, Premier Forward Media Group or Premier Forward Management, go ahead and shout it out.
You can follow me online on Instagram at Spank, that's SPANK, well, __ Spank, the number 2, LIVEE, live, Spank 2 live. And then you can follow the business page at Premier Forward Management on Instagram. That's Premier, PREMIERE, Forward, that's the number 4, WD, like 4-wheel drive, Management.
Like 4. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for listening to Liquid Era, and we out.
Yeah.